we're going to go into our buy, sell, trade as usual each year. Each episode. So our first player we are going to talk about, arguably the MVP, Christian McCaffrey. The 2017 Prism Silver, number 249 PSA 10, which has a pop of 1,209 over the last 6 months, has seen an insane growth of 112.01% over 127 sales. The average price in this time frame was $183.15. The low was $91. The high was $303.25, and the current price is at $299.99. As we all know, Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the league. There's really no debating it at this point. And he's been one of the best players overall. As of this podcast, on December 28th, on the ground, he currently has 258 rushing attempts with 1,395 yards, 5.4 yards per carry, and 14 touchdowns. Receiving-wise, he has 63 receptions for 537 yards and 7 touchdowns. He also has 3 fumbles on the season all around. Christian McCaffrey is a dog. His cards are up right now for a very, very good reason. As of buying, selling, or holding him right now, I think it might be a good time to sell Christian McCaffrey. I think it might be a really good time to sell Christian McCaffrey. The running back market is a really hard market, and cards at least to hold a lot of value in the long term. The only way you want to hold him now is if he somehow miraculously wins the MVP or if they win the Super Bowl. As for McCaffrey right now, I would probably sell him.
I agree. Listen, I love C-Mac. I play a lot of, DraftKings and daily fantasy. It's my background where I kind of came from. And I love the guy. Anybody that plays fantasy loves the guy and is very aware of the guy. But you hit it right on the head, Gilly. Running back value we don't set the rules. It's just the way it is. And nobody holds values like quarterbacks. So not to say that other players, other cards aren't valuable. His stuff is valuable. But how much more valuable will it be when he retires or anything else? And if you're not going to do that, if you're buying now, you're really buying in hopes that he wins MVP or that he wins the Super Bowl. And I've always been a believer in selling on the hype. And right now his hype is through the roof. So I am also a seller on Christian McCaffrey. I think this is like one of those periods where a ton of people are talking about him. It was great for his career that he went from the Panthers to the 49ers. Bigger market, everything all together. But I think you hit it on the head, bro. If he was a quarterback, I'd say buy because he's got years. But one thing he's got going for him, you just don't. He played 100% of the snaps last week. Granted, they lost, but he played 100. You just don't see that these days. There's not a lot of running backs who are playing like that.
Absolutely not.
What, 20? I don't even remember. 20. I'm trying to think when my niece was born because that's really when I really got into DraftKings and all that. Back then, you had Le'Veon Bell and these dudes, right? Like real David Johnson. Look what happened to them. Nah, I'm not saying that's going to happen to McCaffrey, but it could. And at the very least, on a micro scale, that could at least happen to his value. Is anyone going to talk about McCaffrey the way they talk about Brady or any of these other quarterbacks when McCaffrey retires? I just don't know.
It's hard to say, but as of now, he's probably the best running back of this generation.
Absolutely.
Bar for bar.
And for that purpose, if you bought in early, great. If you're trying to make a quick flip and you want to bet on them winning the Super Bowl, which I think is a fair bet. They look pretty legit. Or even just the MVP. There's an opportunity there. There's risk, but there's opportunity. But I don't know how much more his card is actually going to increase where you make a marginal income. And if you've already have his card, because you got it from a Hit Parade box like we have, which are phenomenal, or you just got it from back in the day, it's probably worth a lot more than when you bought it. So, yeah, I would say it's a pretty good time to sell it.